Good morning from the city of Boston. It is Mayday and it is just after 10 a.m. in the morning. It's a nice clear day here. If you look up at the sky there, you will see that there isn't a single contrail, chemtrail, or any other type of trail for that matter. Perhaps they have stopped spraying, who knows? Maybe that's why I can think so clearly because I've not been sprayed under a constant barrage. Anyway, today is a very important day. I have a sense of foreboding today. It may not be a thing that everybody is aware of, but exactly 250 years ago today, in the little kingdom or dukedom of Bavaria, which, as we all know, is part of Germany, a fellow by the name of Weishaupt, or Weishaupt. His pronunciation is difficult, but it doesn't really matter for the story. He set up an organization known as the Illuminati on Mayday, May the 1st, 1776 in Bavaria. So it's 250 years old today. And it still exists despite what people might or might not think about it. That is important in my mindset today. Now, also, let's get back to the war. Is it 8 weeks or 9 weeks? It's gone into it now. I think it's 8 weeks plus it going into the ninth. Anyway, regardless, people may think that the United States have been beaten and it's all over and it's just a game of wait and see. I would not take that for granted whatsoever. I believe Trump, there's a very high probability now in 6 hours when the stock markets close that Trump is going to let loose a barrage against these Iranians. He's got three carriers over there, carrier groups. One of them is about to leave, or maybe even have already departed, because it's overstayed its duration and it must be relieved. So let's just say there's three of them still in theater, as it's known. I believe he's going to let the bombs fly tonight. We'll see. Well, I don't believe it, I sense it, which is slightly different than believing it. Betting against the United States has not been a winning proposition for a long, long, long time. So I would be reluctant to bet against them. If they just reduce these fellows, the objective will be to make the place ungovernable and just to break it up into fiefdoms. And some people are already saying, a fellow called Victor Davis Hanson, I listen to him every now and then. I'm not a great fan of him, but I listen to a lot of people that I'm not a great fan of just to get a broader sense. He believes the government now are in disarray and they just cannot govern whatsoever, and with a little more economic pressure, they'll fall apart. The problem with that situation is there's more than just the Iranians under a little economic pressure. There's quite a range of countries about to enter or are entering a situation where fuel will have to be rationed. Which of course is the wrong thing to do. You never ration anything, you just let the market decide the price, and then there will be no shortage at all. It'll just be more expensive, of course, but there will be no shortage. That is what I think is going to happen tonight. We shall see. If it doesn't happen tonight, well, all those troops back there, the temperature is rising into the summer, and they have to be supplied, and that's an untenable position long term. The most the United States can have back there is one carrier group enforcing the blockade, and that is the situation. We'll wait and see how that happens. Now, if there's no fighting tonight, it'll mean that the blockade will continue till one side cracks. That's actually the worst case scenario for Ireland, because Ireland will crack before the Iranians. I would view that as a very welcome development indeed, because Ireland needs to suffer before it comes to its senses, because it's a long, long, long way from coming to its senses. Because despite everything, and despite what some patriots believe, the vast majority of people back there seem to be quite content. And anybody holding out hopes for a dramatic victory in the by-election, they are erring on the side of overconfidence, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to the two by-elections in 3 weeks today. 3 weeks today. Galway West, Dublin Central, or North Central, I forget which one. I expect Sinn Féin to win both seats. I expect Malachy Stevens to get a very small vote. I do not see any scenario where he could possibly be elected at all. The other guy, Hutch, he'll probably get a decent vote, but he won't get elected either. I don't see why anybody would vote for Hutch. And I see not too much reason to vote for Stinson either. If I was voting in that particular constituency, I'd vote for Paul Fitzsimons. He's not my ideal candidate, but I think he's the person I'd be giving number 1 to, and then I'd give the other guys 2 and 3 or whatever. But I would certainly be voting for Fitzsimmons number 1. That'd be just me. If I was in Galway West, I would be voting for AJ Cahill number 1, without a shadow of a doubt. He's the only person in the whole field, well, some minor characters I'm not aware of too much, but from the ones I've seen, he's the only one that's just saying it even close to what it is, and he's understating the gravity of the situation as well, in my opinion. But at least he is in the general ballpark of reality. I would vote for him number 1, and I might give a couple of more dependents 2 and 3, and then on the assumption that they will be eliminated fairly early, I would then give my number 4 or whatever to Noel Thomas, by which time that will be in effect a number 1 vote. That is the beauty of proportional representation. I see it all the time. For the life of me, I do not know why people say this, but they do, and they believe it as well. They say PR and numerous candidates from what we might call our side running together splits the vote, and nobody's going to get elected. When you look at past elections, if you added up both votes for all the candidates on our side in the past elections, you'd still be a mile away from getting elected anyway. And unless somebody just goes in there and votes number 1 and doesn't vote number 2, 3, and just has a very little understanding of PR, proportional representation, there's no such thing as splitting the vote. Your number 3 will become a number 1 on the elimination of your number 1 and number 2 choices. It's as simple as that. I wish them all well. Anyway, it's going to be a short video. I hope you enjoyed some of the scenery. I'm on what's known as the Jamaica Way, going in here to where Boston meets Brookline, and a lot of universities and all sorts of stuff in here. All right, thank you for watching, and we will just hope for the best tonight. But if there's going to be a kinetic resumption, it's tonight. It's going to happen in about 6 hours. Thank you.